Spari ju përshëndes dhe ju falenderoj shumë për ndihmesën shumë të madhe që ju po jepni te fushat. Siç kam theksuar, theksoj, kjo fushat e ka jetike që të ketë si fytyrë të vetën fytyrën tuaj. Ju do ishit dhe do jeni imazhi më i bukur, më njerëzor, më i besueshëm i fushatës elektorale. Ndaj dhe juftoj të mendoni me kreativitet, përshëndetje. Të mendoni me kreativitet, me entuziazëm për të gjithë këte fushat e cila kërkon që ne tek qytetarit mos shkojmë si politikan, por të shkojmë si misionar. Dhe nuk ka misionar më bindës se sa të rritë. Shqipëri sot i duhen misionar. Në situatën në cilën ajo ndodhet, atë e shpëtojnë vetëm misionarët. Kështu që ju siguroj se programi i Partisë Demokratike dhe aleatëve do t'jetë një program që synon të bëjë realitet ëndrat tuaja. Ëndra Shqipëria madhështore, projektin më të shkëlqyer ka në ëndrën tuaj. Në ëndrat tuaja të ditës, se ka ëndra dite, ka ëndra nate. Të ditës janë ato për cilat ne punojmë. Ndaj dhe një program për të rit, i cili nënkupton shkollim cilësor dhe të drejtë shkollimi për të gjithë të rritë shqiptarë. Nënkupton një përpjekje të shoqërisë për suksesin e të rive shqiptarë në jetë, punësimin e tyre, krimin e familjes, mbështetja e madhe për sukses në biznesit. Pra, të gjitha këto janë element thelbësor se Shqipëria s'mund t'jetë kur Shqipëri madhështore pa rinin e saj madhështore, pa ëndrën të bërë realitet të trive të saj. Ndaj dhe unë nuk po flas gjatë. If Chris would like to say a few words, I will be very happy. And then we are here to listen.
Thank you.
Works.
Good, yeah. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Beautiful day. I think it's really important that in politics, whether it's in the United States or here in Albania, that the youth and the younger voters have to be involved and take ownership of their government, because the future is you all. And, you know, I think what the policies that of the last 12 years have made it very difficult for the future and future opportunity for younger voters. And a lot of the policies that Dr. Berisha brings will ensure that many of you can stay here and find opportunity, find success, help build the country. So it's very important, and you know, for the campaign needs to communicate its messages to where the voters are, and most of you do not get your information from the traditional sources, you know, the media. You get it through social media, you get it through online, different venues. So it's very important that we communicate to you all, but it's also very important that you engage and you make your opinion known, and you make sure you get your friends and your family to actually vote. And again, the entire election is about, the most important issue is the economy and the future. And you guys have the actual ability to affect and change the future and change the direction of your country, but you won't be able to do it unless you show up. There's an old saying that we have in the States: the world is controlled by those who show up. And it's really, really important that you show up and make your voices heard. Thank you.
Mendoj se të ndëgjojmë ju, pyetjet, komentet, sugjerimet, vërejtjet, kritikat, dëshirat, çdo gjë që ju ne jemi shumë të kënaqur të ndëgjojmë.
Mr. Lasivita, thank you for being here. My question for the sheriff is, what motivated the youth of the Republican Party in the last elections, and what was their key role in the campaign?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking that. So, just so everybody knows, I'm not really a sheriff. I just like to have a little bit of fun. But you know, in the election in the United States, traditionally the younger voters aren't really engaged, and you know, I think the left is always hopeful that the younger voters don't take ownership and don't get involved. But we actually had a very specific plan to engage younger voters, because we talked about the issues that mattered to them. There's a lot of noise in campaigns, and people want to take you down different paths and talk about issues that don't really matter. And the most important thing for us was, first of all, communicating to the younger voters where they get their information. So again, it was online, through podcasts, through lots of non-traditional methods, and it's very important. Those same things you can do here. They were very much concerned about their ability to get ahead, get their own place. You know, a lot of younger voters in the United States, because they can't really afford to get their own place, they're still living with their parents. And they didn't want to live with their parents forever. And so they want to get out on their own and establish their own roles and
Thank you. And you know, have some sort of future. So you know, they very much were responding to a lot of the messaging that President Trump was talking about, and of course they're caring about personal security. They care about economic security, and again, the issues that drove Americans to the polls in 2024 are the same issues here. It's very, very similar circumstances. So again, it's about ensuring that they know that there is a party that is focused on the future, and that conservatives have the best solutions. You know, as I said yesterday, the last 12 years have been an abysmal failure. So why would you vote for the party? Why would you vote for the person who's responsible for the last 12 years? It's time to make a change.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. Lasivitas, and it's a great pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Albania. I have 4 questions for you. The first one is that, seeing the way that you led the campaign of Mr. Trump in America, how will you adapt that campaign here in Albania, and what new strategies will we implement here? The second one is that Rama has modernized the way of stealing votes in Albania by employing people in the administration, even people that just get the salary and don't do nothing. How are you going to fight that? And the third of all is how are we going to balance the support that Rama is receiving from the left-wing parties of Europe, of course, because of he has the support of Soros. How are we going to balance this? And the fourth question is, will we have the support of the US in these elections? The concrete support.
Yeah. So, I mean, from a strategic standpoint, I mean, we're not going to give away too many secrets, but it's about having I think from a campaign standpoint, much more active on social media, much more active in non-traditional methods of communicating with voters. I think is a very important thing. Talking to the right group of voters, from a standpoint of the message, of course, the messaging Dr. Berisha talks about opportunity, about being able to stay in Albania, about being able to, have a future here, so you don't have to move to Europe or move to the United States. But and as it relates to the left-wing parties, socialists will always stick together. And because they have a one world view of government that doesn't include the individual, and those are the types of things that individuals need to be able to stand up against and fight. And as it relates to the United States, I mean, I obviously don't speak for the United States government. I'm here as a private citizen, and I do political campaigns all over the world. But again, what makes it interesting here for me is we have a true conservatives who are battling against a socialist regime and a very unstable leader who has really made the government and the economy very unstable. And we need to ensure that there's stability in the region. So I mean, obviously, those in the United States watch what happens, in every country, and it's about building alliances, and of course Albania has always been in the forefront, and of course Dr. Berisha was a big part of that. So, but again, it's just really important for those of you in a certain age understand the importance of what you're doing and the importance of making sure that not only that you vote, but you grab 5 people, you grab 10 people, and you make sure they vote as well. It's very simple, and you can have a direct impact on the outcome of any election as long as you stand up and be counted.
Just a moment. As regard to Europe, lidhur me pyetjen tuaj për Europën, në Shqipëri ka 2 Europa. Një Europë që censurohet dhe tjetra që manipulohet dhe deformohet. E vërteta është Europa që censurohet në Shqipëri. Këtë javë ka folur për Shqipërinë më fuqishëm se kur ndonjëherë në 32 vite, dhe ndofta më fuqishëm se për çdo vend tjetër në 32 vite. Kjo Europë, në Këshillin e Europës, në një kohë krejtësisht të pazakont, mbajti 2 seanca me 2 grupet kryesore parlamentare, në të cilat ajo u informuar dhe debatoi për narkoshtetin në Shqipëri, për Edi Ramën, si një arbik të pluralizmit që arreston kundërshtarët e tij politik, që burgos kundërshtarët e tij politik dhe që shtron zgjedhjet në farsë elektorale. Kjo Europë nga mediat e mëdha të kontrolluara nga qeveria u censuruat plotësisht. Por e vërteta është që kjo Europë, që ta dini ju, në vizitën e tij në Këshillin e Europës, drejtuesit e këtij institucioni do më informonin se ata Edi Rams i anulluan darkën zyrtare të planifikuar për nder të tij. Akt që nuk kishte ndodhur ndonjëherë në historinë e atij institucioni. Darkën ja anulluan dhe ja anulluan për shkak të keqsjelljes të tij, për shkak se aty ai nuk përmbajti veten dhe demonstroi se cili ishte. Por nuk është e tëra kjo. Pas anullimit darkës, duket se ky kishte mbledhur grupet kriminale shqiptare nëpër Europë dhe pas anullimit të darkës, me qindra mesazhe kërcënimi shkuan drejt drejtuesve të Këshillit të Europës. Kjo është Europa që u censurua, por jo vetëm kaq. Në qoftë se kjo ndodhi ditën e hënë, ditën e martë ndodhi një ngjarje tjetër, madhore, për Shqipërinë në Komision në Punëve të Jashtme të Sigurisë Parlamentit Evropian. Seanca në Komision në Punëve të Jashtme dhe të Sigurisë, që është komisioni qendror i Parlamentit Evropian, ishte një seancë ku mirnin pjesë deputetët të gjitha grupeve parlamentare. Dhe në këtë seancë kushtuar jemi realisht në tërësi zgjedhjeve në Shqipëria, zgjedhjeve në Shqipëri, këtyre zgjedhjeve, çka është edhe kjo tepër e pazakontë, sepse normalisht në këtë fushat nuk nërbidhen aktivitetet tilla. Në këtë seancë që përsëri është Europa e censuruar, por ju siguroj se ai komision është komisioni vendimarrës më i rëndësishëm i Bashkimit Evropian, parlamentar, u paraqitën qoftë nga ekspert, qoftë nga anëtarë të komisionit, situata dramatike e Shqipërisë. U paraqit me vërtetësi Edi Rama një lloj narkodiktatori që nuk respekton parlamentin, nuk respekton vendimet e gjykatës kushtetuese, nuk respekton votën e lirë të shqiptarëve. U paraqitën me vërtetësi të madhe qëndrimi i tij ndaj pluralizmit dhe kundërshtarëve politik. Pra, i dashur, vërtet ka patur ndonjë deklaratë të këtu, të cilat edhe ato i ka manipuluar Edi Rama, sepse nëse marrim deklaratën e fundit të dy komisionerëve, që të dyja e bën të qartë se nuk mund të ketë nuk mund të ketë integrim pa reforma të thella të cilat Edi Rama kur nuk i bën. Edi Rama bën fasad, mirë po fasada e Edi Rams mori fund ditën e hënë dhe ditën e mërkur në dy institucionet themelore të demokracisë europiane dhe të bashkimit europian dhe të politikës europiane. Kështu që ju, do të thënë, nuk duhet përpiqemi që ta tejkalojmë censurën. Edhe kjo, unë e thash në Këshillin e Europës, akti i mbylljes së TikTokut është akti i Habitullahut të Kabulit. Dhe sqarova dhe një gjë. Mos e merrni për të thjesht se jati i tij në vitin 1988 me 10 dhjetor firmosi varjen litar të një poeti, disident, guzimtar, vetëm se shkrojti vargje për Fjalën e Lirë, shkrojti vargje për frymën e Helsinkit, kurse ky tani varë në litar TikTokun sepse trit e përdorin shumë dhe e kritikojnë, e tallin ose e qortojnë. Ndaj dhe është bërë një punë e madhe, nuk i tejkalon dot kurrë me banalitetet e tij Edi Rama, por ishte bërë famzi. Ai mund të them për ta mbyll, ai ishte tashmë i vetmi kryeministër në historinë e Europës që i kishin anulluar darkën zyrtare sikur të përfaqësonte Enver Hoxhën apo Ghedafin.
I'll ask my question in English, if that's okay. Thank you, everyone. Dr. Berisha, Mr. Lasivita. My name is Emmanuel. I'm the International Secretary of the Youth Wing of the party. During my studies in the UK, I came across something very interesting when it comes to campaign strategies, which is called the 3-3-3 rule, which says that 3 months prior to election day, there needs to be something groundbreaking to happen. 3 weeks before, there needs to be something groundbreaking to happen, and 3 days before as well. So allow me to tease a little bit, if you allow me. Exactly 3 months prior to the elections, we broke the news that you were going to be our campaign strategist, and that was something that made very big news, and even in the polls, it had a great effect in our party. So should we perhaps expect in the coming week, where it's going to be exactly 3 weeks prior to the elections, something equally groundbreaking, if I go by the logic of this strategy that I learned? Thank you.
I mean,
A yes or no will suffice.
I mean, every day should be groundbreaking from the standpoint of it's an awakening, and it's educating and awakening the electorate to how badly Eddie Rama has failed this country. And I have a similar rule, which is be short and be concise, be to the point, and to repeat your message continuously. And the only future that we have here is if Dr. Berisha is elected. Otherwise, it'll be more of the same. So, you know, in politics, if you try to force something, it comes across that way. If you try to force something, it looks contrived. And I think the most important thing is to be, as Dr. Berisha said, be yourself, be true to yourself, be true to who you are as a party, fight for the lower taxes, fight for the common working person, and make the case that you can't afford 4 more years of Eddie Rama. You just can't. That's the groundbreaker.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. welcome. It's our greatest honor to have you among us. Given that we've seen a lot of photos of you boarding the Trump Force One, and also we've seen you sharing some jokes maybe with the new FBI director, Mr. Kash Patel, I had a question is President Trump personally aware of the corruption in Albania, and is President Trump aware of what is happening here? And also, maybe if you could meet Mr. Kash Patel again, could you also remind him that Eddie Rama has an ongoing case there in Washington? Thank you.
So, so again, I don't, I don't speak for the United States government. Obviously, I have a lot of friends there because I work very closely on the campaign. But I think it's suffice to say that there is an understanding of the politics and the corruption that exists here. As I mentioned last night, many of the same things that the Biden administration for the last 4 years tried to imprison Donald Trump. I mean, they raided his home. And so those types of things had never really happened before. And so the similarities between what they're trying to do to conservatives here to what they did to them over in the United States are remarkably similar. And it's because they can't defend their record. It's because they can't defend the state of the economy. And it always has to come back to that. But I'll just close by saying that I'm extremely impressed by all of you. I think you have a lot to offer, and the future looks great, and your guys' English is just amazing. So congratulations to you all.
Just the shadow, hjeja e McGonigalit do ta ndjekë Edi Ramën gjatë ditën e fundit të jetës së tij. Nuk I ndahet. Është skandal planetar. Është skandal planetar. Ndaj dhe ai, siç e shifti, ka një terror të brendshëm. Ai ka patur probleme të njohura serioze me ekuilibrat psikologjike, por tani ka zgjedhë autoizolimin si rrugën për si të thuash, për të mos shfaqur publikisht momentet e dezekuilibrit, si ndodhi ajo që I ra Tovolis dëshira me kokë, me grush, e tjerë e tjerë. Ajo është një çështje që dihet që Edi Rama ka afera shumë të mëdha korruptive, por afera e cila ju cituat është e faktur, është në gjykat, e gjykuar nga një gjykatës amerikan. Dhe Rama e din që ajo nuk parashkruhet. Nuk është një krim që parashkruhet ai akt që ka kryer. ever. And market is not is pluralistic one as people.
And there were thousands.
But I found, and I stayed more than 1 hour and a half or 2 hours, around 2 hours, walking around, meeting people, meeting salesmen, meeting all. And I found no one in the shops, being reluctant or being unfriendly. No, all were very friendly, even cheering, which is a great courage, because after my trip, usually go taxes.
They have a fine, yeah. They have a problem with the government.
They have taxes.
The tax man.
But what impressed me, I met the butcher, and I asked him how you are doing. He told not good. He told me that in one day, now what we have had every day before, we have just in feasts and no others. The turnover that we have had, a daily turnover before, now we have it only during festivities, and that's all. So it was really remarkable. There were only 2 citizens, which were 2 ladies, went without talking, did any negative reaction, but they didn't stop to talk. Everybody stopped to talk. I was so much impressed. Never have had such a market reception like this time. But we have a really excellent program for this program where we could knock everywhere. We could knock to business people, small business people, to farmers, to all. And it's the most realistic program. Why is it the most realistic? Because most difficult parts of it are tested by ourselves. When I tell you, when I put for the first time 10 flat tax, 10%. The lowest flat tax in Europe was 17%. 17%. I thought, but we were to an unknown situation that IMF stayed aside, told us, no, we do not follow you, we'll look. And if you fail, is your fault. We don't like to be part. Okay, we told them. But we haven't never done it, 10%. But at the end of 6 months, we got 300 million euro more than was foreseen, or more than a year before.
Yeah.
So we know now, we are not before unknowns. No, we know everything that, because they went to absurdities. What we told yesterday evening, for a meter square trottoir, for meter square public space, 20 euro. It was 1.2 euro. 1.2 euro. They went 20 euro. They went 15 euro. So this how to make them suffer. It's not. People are not aware how difficult it is for small business. The life. The life is not an easy one for them. Go and look at those people. Stay 10 hours, 8 hours, stand up in conditions not at all good. They suffer. They are happy. We will do, but we have to sit down with them. I told, not as politicians, not as people that are going for promises, but as missionary, that we care for them. We feel their sufferances.
The handshake is still sacred in Albania.
Yeah.
You shake the hands.
Yeah.
Chris, may I ask you a question regarding the role of the youth? Because just like in US with your campaign, we have the mainstream media against us in here, and it's controlled by the left wing. These youth are very active on social media, mainly on Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms. What do you think should be the main message of the youth in here, also in terms of positive campaign and negative campaign, and also in terms of strategy? Should it be regarding the program? Should it be regarding bringing back hope? Should it be a call to their friends to work on this campaign, to make sure that they stay in here, have a better life?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I do actually. And first of all, it's not negative. Okay, it's not negative to point out the failures of Eddie Rama. That's not negative. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And so they want to use that and say and I think it's important that you communicate to your friends, not only what you're against, but you have to be able to tell them what you're for. You have to do both. And Eddie Rama failed in the last 12 years because the cost of everything is much more expensive. The corruption, the crime. And then the counter to that is the program and specific points about the program. And you just, when you post something on Facebook or when you're online in social media, politics is a very visual, medium where people visualize politics. So it's always helpful to have visualize. People have to understand the impacts of the price of eggs, the price of bread, the price of milk, and how much it's gone up over the last 12 years. You have to show them. You just can't tell them. You have to show them how the price has gone up and how the program is designed to bring it down. And we're seeing that right now in the States. The inflation is down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jobs are up. Inflation is down. The cost of living is down. All of those things are happening.
Absolutely.
And it's only been 100 days.
Yes.
So imagine the impact that you can have when you change the government here. I mean, you've had the same person for 12 years. You know what we call that in America? A dictator. So
We call that here as well, but
yeah. I mean, that,
Just a word. More and more, you show yourself to citizens. Much greater will be our chances for victory. I told you,
excuse me.
the vice chairman of Democratic Party of Kavaya, he was in an area which sometimes vote for us, sometimes doesn't vote for us. And what I did, he told me, I took all my staff young people. I worked only with young people. Young people in every corner, every duty, everywhere. But not only my area got winner, but also the neighbors were so much influenced by by the campaign of young people, because as much as you meet people, as much you move, you are the best advertising for this
Yes.
campaign. You make the real an extraordinary contribution. You have a moment in your life to contribute to topple this dictatorship, and we are going to topple it.